The Warrior Princess and the Barbaric King Episode 4 is a warm, intoxicating hearthfire of an episode, one that transforms cultural collision into something tenderly human. Where previous installments established the brutal poetry of combat and reluctant captivity, Episode 4 slows down, breathes deeply, and lets the heart do the heavy lifting. It is a love letter to understanding, to the quiet revolution that happens when you truly see the people you once called enemies. Imagine a night lit by sacred liquor and fairy light, where a proud knight from a cold, expansionist kingdom finds herself surrounded by the very barbarians she was raised to despise. What unfolds is not preaching, but revelation. Funny, awkward, emotionally naked, and surprisingly romantic. The episode feels like stepping from winter into spring. The episode opens in the soft haze of morning after vulnerability. Serafina sits alone with her drink and her thoughts, quietly admitting that Veer's protection during the dragon attack stirred something new in her. The unfamiliar sensation of being shielded, rather than always being the shield. That single quiet reflection sets the tone. This is a story about a woman learning she doesn't have to carry the world alone. Then the party explodes into glorious, overwhelming life. Tiny winged beings, animated plants, dwarven master smiths, fairy chieftains, and spirit elders descend upon the gathering. Sarah's wide-eyed disbelief is our own. The dialogue crackles with culture shock comedy as she struggles to process a world far richer and more interconnected than her Western military upbringing allowed her to imagine. Yet beneath the humor lies profound respect. These barbarians aren't savages. They are neighbors, artisans, elders, and allies bound by the tribal alliance under the Great Spirits. The gift-giving sequence is particularly moving. A mithril sword, a hand-woven dress, a golden mithril necklace. Each item carries the weight of acceptance. When Sarah, the master swordswoman, loses herself in analyzing the blade's flawless craftsmanship, we see her armor crack. She is being valued not as a prisoner or a political tool, but as someone worthy of beauty and strength. The emotional core arrives with the reunion between Serafina and Nylea, her former subordinate, now a happily married mother living among the tribes. The flashbacks to their shared battles are sharp and haunting, contrasting the rigid honor of Ildren's knights with the vibrant, grounded life Nylea has built here. Nylea's transformation is a mirror for Sarah. Where once there was only duty and war, there is now laughter, children, a husband who defeated her and then won her heart. Their conversation is laced with nostalgia, gentle grief for the person Sarah used to be, and quiet hope. When Sarah admits that Nylea looks happier than she ever did in the expeditionary force, the line lands like a soft blade, painful in its honesty, healing in its implication. The episode's climax is not a battle but an internal one. Alone with Veer, Sarah delivers a raw, unfiltered monologue about her past ignorance. She acknowledges how she dehumanized an entire people, justified invasion through propaganda, and never considered that her enemies had families, dreams, and a rich culture. This is not simple guilt. It is profound growth, the painful birth of empathy in a heart forged for war. Yet even as she grapples with her identity as a Knight of Ildren, she makes the episode's most romantic confession. As an individual, separate from duty, the idea of being with Veer doesn't sound so terrible. The final scenes shimmer with Sundra brilliance. Drunken honesty gives way to sober vulnerability. Sarah's fiery denials melt into flustered admissions, while Veer's patient teasing reveals a man who sees her completely, warrior, woman, and everything in between. Serafina is a masterclass in layered psychology. Her stiff pride, quick temper, and deep sense of duty mask a woman starved for genuine connection. The age gap, jokes, and beard-related shock reveal her vulnerability. She is confronting not just a different culture, but her own womanhood and desires. Her communication style evolves from defensive commands to tentative, blushing honesty. Veer shines as the steady flame. He doesn't push. He protects, teases, listens, and creates space for her to grow. His quiet, "I wish I was born a bit earlier," carries heartbreaking romantic weight. The wish of someone who knows he must earn a heart shaped by years of opposing ideals. Their chemistry is electric precisely because it is earned. Every flustered denial from Sarah feels like another brick removed from her emotional fortress. The episode explores the death of easy binaries, us versus them, knight versus barbarian, duty versus desire. It asks, what happens when the enemy offers you belonging? When strength looks like community rather than conquest? When love arrives wearing the face you were taught to hate? It celebrates found family, cultural humility, and the courage required to let old identities soften without breaking. The atmosphere is luminous and intimate. Golden firelight, the glow of mithril, the delicate shimmer of fairy wings. The episode feels warm and textured. Pacing is masterful. Raucous party energy gives way to quiet, meaningful conversations, then builds toward tender romantic tension. The use of silence around Sarah's realizations speaks volumes. The humor never undercuts the emotional weight. Instead, it makes the vulnerability land harder. two-parter. Here are the best scenes of the whole episode: the party introductions, pure wonder and culture shock, beautifully balancing comedy with awe, Sarah examining the mithril sword, a warrior's soul recognizing true craftsmanship and acceptance, the Nylea reunion and flashbacks, nostalgic, heartbreaking, and full of hope, Sarah's monologue on her past ignorance, the emotional apex, raw, honest, transformative, the final sober confession sequence, peak romantic tension, funny and flutteringly sweet. Episode 4 of The Warrior Princess and the Barbaric King is comfort food for the soul wrapped in exquisite character work. It takes the classic enemies to lovers trope and infuses it with genuine cultural reckoning, making the romance feel earned on both personal and thematic levels. Serafina's slow thaw is breathtaking to witness, a proud warrior learning that strength can include surrender, that honor can include understanding, and that home might be found in the last place she ever expected. This is the kind of episode that makes you believe in the quiet power of connection. It leaves you smiling, a little misty-eyed, and deeply invested in these characters' futures. If you've ever wrestled with old beliefs while your heart pulled you somewhere new, this episode will speak to you on a profound level. A luminous, emotionally intelligent gem. 9.5 out of 10. One of the most satisfying, healing through understanding episodes of the year. You'll want to rewatch it just to bask in the warmth again.